My wife's boyfriend stood by the stove, smirking. The burner glowed orange, as if mocking me. "He deserves more," he sneered. And then my wife's voice, cold and sharp, cut through the room. "He never listens. Maybe pain will teach him. You always coddled him, that's why he's weak." Something inside me snapped, but I kept my face still. My years in Black Ops taught me one thing: never let them see the storm until it's too late. I moved toward my son, but her father, the sheriff of this county, the man who thought his badge gave him power over everyone, stepped between me and the door. He dangled my car keys, the sound of metal clinking deliberate, taunting. "You're not taking him to the hospital," he said, his voice low, laced with arrogance. His gut strained against his uniform, but his eyes gleamed with the cruelty of a man who thought the law belonged to him alone. For a moment, silence thickened the air. My son's shallow breaths, the faint hum of the stove, the beating of my own heart, it all merged into one drum of rage. Then I smiled. Just a small, calculated curve of my lips. "You're right," I said calmly. "I won't take him to the hospital." His smugness deepened. He thought he had won. He didn't realize I had already moved the chess pieces long before this night. I slipped my phone from my pocket, dialed one number, and said nothing. Just one click. That was all my squad needed. 30 seconds later, the ground trembled. The low growl of diesel engines rolled through the quiet neighborhood. Headlights cut through the curtains. The sheriff's smile faltered. "What the hell is that?" he barked, stepping toward the window. Then he saw it. An armored truck, matte black, pulled into the driveway, its engine rumbling like a beast. Around it, shadows moved with lethal precision. My squad, my brothers, men forged in fire and blood, men who owed me their lives as I owed them mine. The sheriff's face paled as red laser dots bloomed across his chest, dancing over his shirt like the signatures of death. "Drop the keys," I said softly. He froze. Sweat beaded at his temple. My wife stumbled back, eyes wide, her bravado crumbling. Her boyfriend's smirk vanished, his body trembling like a leaf in a storm. "This is my house," the sheriff stammered. "You can't—" "Wrong," I interrupted, stepping forward. My voice was steel, every syllable sharpened from years of command. "This is my family, my son, and you crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed." The sheriff's hand shook as he dropped the keys. They clattered to the floor, loud in the silence. I bent down, picked them up, and then crouched in front of my son. His little hand shook, his eyes searching mine. I brushed his hair back gently. "It's okay, buddy. You're safe now." One of my squad leaders, Mason, stepped into the doorway, rifle raised, eyes locked on the threats inside. "Orders?" he asked, his voice flat, professional. I looked at my wife first. She had backed into the corner, her hands trembling, face pale. She had chosen her side long ago. My son's cries meant nothing to her. She was already dead to me. Then my eyes cut to her boyfriend, who now crouched by the stove, trying to make himself small. "It was her idea," he whimpered, his voice cracking. I silenced him with one look. Cowards always tried to shift blame when the consequences arrived. Finally, I turned to the sheriff, the man who had thought his badge gave him power. The man who had just learned that real power doesn't come from a star on your chest, but from the loyalty of warriors who would march into hell for you. "You thought I was just some dirt-kicker farmer," I said. "You thought you could hurt my son and walk away? But I didn't choose this farm because I wanted peace." I leaned closer, my words a whisper meant to cut deep. "I chose it because it sits on top of a decommissioned training ground, and I never walk away from my own." The sheriff's lips trembled. He had no words left. I stood, lifted my son in my arms, and walked toward the door. My squad parted for me, rifle steady, eyes never leaving the trembling figures inside the house. The night air was cool as I stepped outside. The armored truck's engine hummed like a guardian beast waiting for my command. I placed my son gently inside, where a medic immediately tended to his burns. Behind me, Mason's voice carried from the doorway. "What do you want us to do with them?" I didn't look back. My son needed me more than my rage did. "Leave them," I said finally. "Their punishment is knowing they're nothing without fear." And fear just walked out the door. As the armored truck pulled away, I held my son close. His small body leaned against mine, his breath softening as the painkillers kicked in. And for the first time in years, I let myself feel something I had buried deep beneath layers of war and violence: hope. Because my son was safe, and as long as I drew breath, no one would ever hurt him again.